Welcome back to my humble abode. Jewelry's something I've been getting into lately, and I've been having a lot of fun. Most of my inspiration comes from old world pieces. I like that rough just found in a field with a metal detector look, or something that came out of a treasure chest. The ring I'm making today is inspired by the ancient Egyptians. It's going to be a snake holding onto a cabochon garnet. The snake I'm going to make out of some silver that I refined earlier. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure to check it out after this one. Usually for jewelry you want to use sterling silver, but I'm going to be forging this ring, and every time I've tried to forge sterling, it's cracked or fallen apart on me. And before we get started, remember to like and subscribe if you like my content and you want to see more. The nice thing about forging jewelry is you can get away with a very minimalist setup. All you really need is a propane torch, a hammer, and a chunk of steel to pound on. To start out, I'm going to heat my silver until it has a nice orange glow and draw it out with my little hammer and anvil. Now I'm going to forge a point onto the end. That's going to be the tip of the tail. After a bit more shaping, I'm going to cut off the excess silver and forge the little snake head. Then I'm going to flatten out the body and put bevels in the top to round it over a bit. After I'm done forging, I'm going to clean it up with my rotary carver and metal file. For the detail on the head and body, I need 3 punches. 2 I'm going to make out of carbon steel, and for the third I'm just going to sharpen up my center punch. The first one's going to be a little C shape for the scales. I'm going to carve it with a little needle file. And the second, a little chisel to make the lines in the head. I'm going to harden them by heating them up until they no longer stick to a magnet and then quenching them in water. At this point, they're really brittle, so I'm going to temper them by heating them back up until they turn an orangey blue, and then cooling them back off in the water. Now, using my freshly sharpened center punch, I make the eyes. And the lines on the face with the little chisel. With a Sharpie, I mark out the center lines for my scales, then using the little C punch, I stamp those. After sanding out any scratches, I start shaping the body to wrap around the gemstone. It's a lot easier to do this before bending the snake into a ring. Now I need to anneal the silver. This softens the metal so I can bend it into a ring, and the tools I have to bend it I made out of wood. If you don't want to deal with a gemstone, the ring looks pretty good just like that. But we are dealing with a gem, so now I need to solder the ends to the body. I'm pretty new at soldering jewelry, so I like to use easy solder. You don't have to get it quite as hot as with medium or hard solder. Also, if you're doing it right, you want to use real jewelry solder, not just electrical solder that you can get at the hardware store. I get mine from a jewelry supply site online. Then I give it a quick buff with a wire wheel before I start fitting the garnet, and I mark with a Sharpie where I need to remove material with this tiny little ball burr. I need to make grooves either side of the opening for the edges of the gem to sit in. Then we pop the gem in and lightly hammer it to pinch it in place. And finally, buff the ring. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And if you haven't seen it yet or you'd like to see it again, this is the video where I refine the silver bar I used. Thanks for watching.